So, how is 2022 treating everybody so far?
It's been pretty good, aside from the amount of homework I've done. That's high school. But otherwise, it's been pretty good.
For me, it's been pretty laid back. My school got pushed back a week because of COVID. So, right?
Mine and Amelia's school also got pushed back because of COVID.
Yeah, we have this thing where like the week after winter break, first we had 2 days off and then we were completely online. And then just this week we had the option of being either in person or staying online. So it's kind of like it still feels like a lot different, even though we've gotten used to like this so-called normal.
Yeah, it's very up in the air right now. It's super weird because the school's like, we're doing everything in our power to not go virtually and we can't do hybrid. But like half of my teachers are like offering to they have like online classes that they hold like anyway. And like they always like keep a link, like a Meet link open. So it's just a whole mess right now.
I don't get that option. Right now, all my classes are online, or in person on campus, and my school is trying to keep all classes in person. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
Like they're trying so hard to keep us in school, but like teachers are sick, students are sick, everybody's sick. Like it's just, I don't think it's gonna end well.
Yeah, I totally agree. I just saw my friend today, who I haven't seen like in about a month, and she was telling me about how they're still making her go back to school in person, but there have been like so many reported cases in her school, but they're still open. It's so crazy how they're still doing that.
There have been cases that have been reported there, but there's not like a lot of them to be like concerned about.
Yeah, that's why our school originally shut down like and extended like the break for like a couple days because there was so many staffing shortages that they didn't have enough teachers to like hold school. But I don't know. I don't blame the schools personally. They're kind of like caught in a difficult situation because like the state is basically threatening to withdraw funding if like they don't hold classes in person, which is really hard and sucks a lot. But yeah.
Yeah, I'm in student government, and like we were talking about how we don't have like a lot of like usually we for like snow days the max amount is like 10 or 6. I forgot, but like we don't have a lot left because we've had to like the school has had to close for a lot this year, not like because of like there were like power outages at some point this school year, and also because of like COVID, so they have to like use the days they have left wisely. And it's kind of sad how we have to choose between like our education or our health in whether or not we want to go in person or not.
That's interesting since for this whole past week I've been off. And they've been the days they use for this whole break was a part of my snow days. So I don't know what's going to happen in the future, especially if we do go down into lockdown or if they need to cancel school for an extended period of time, how that's going to kind of turn out.
Yeah, I don't know, but things are like super crazy here right now. Like, I think COVID cases are like the highest that they've been since the pandemic started. And also there's like a 25% positivity rate in Michigan, which is just crazy. Like my neighbors, like I live in a duplex, and like my downstairs neighbors recently got COVID, and like I don't know, everyone I know either has it or knows someone who has it, and it's just crazy. But other than that, like what kind of, I mean, like it's kind of hard sometimes to like, I know for me personally it's hard to like set goals for this year just because we really don't know what the rest of the year is gonna look like. But how have you, like, what kind of goals have you set for yourself? Like, even kind of with like all this uncertainty going on?
My primary goal is just to survive, complete my classes, continue pushing forward to complete my degree. That's about it.
For me, my goal's kind of like similar to Kaden, but like branching off of it from that, I know people have like New Year's resolutions and stuff like that, but I particularly for me, I try to stray away from that because whenever I try to make New Year's resolution for myself, I'm very committed the first 2 days, and then after that, it all just kind of falls apart. So that never really works out for me. So instead, I just have more like short-term, long-term goals that I set like whenever I can. Usually, I try to enforce them a lot more with the new year, especially with the concept of New Year's resolution. But whenever I explicitly state it as New Year's resolution, for some reason it just like never works out. But personally for me, it's more so like focusing on myself more, giving me more like time to like step back from schoolwork when need be, or like personally maybe like doing yoga, because like I keep telling myself I should because it helps me like connect more with myself, but sometimes like I just don't have the time and day to do it. So that's personally one of mine. Also, I want to like, this is kind of hard to do, like given the time being, but like go out more, like even if it's just like a walk in the park, but something like that, something to just like take a step back from like all the things that are surrounding me right now.
Yeah, it's so crazy now that like I basically have to remind myself to go outside. Like sometimes if I don't like actively pay attention, I like won't go outside for like 3 days, and then I'm like, oh wait, I haven't been outside in like 3 days. I should probably go do that. But
I actually found a way around that. Like,
oh?
Yeah. Well, I signed up for a club. I didn't know how much we were going to meet, but it turns out if we include the time I'm in classes at school, I'm at on school campus 33.5 hours a week just to do work there. So it's that's how I get out of the house. And that's one club in total.
Yeah. I try to go for a walk like every day, but it doesn't always happen because the sun goes down at like 4 p.m. now, and like a lot of times I have stuff after school and I'm working all throughout the day, so I just don't have time to like go out before the sun goes down. But I'm trying really hard to like go outside more. And I don't know, I'm like graduating this year, so I'm just trying to keep my grades all in order and keep up with my work and just kind of finish strong with the school year mostly. And I also want to read a lot of books, so those are my like 2 or 3 main things.
I would say just want to improve me, progressively be a better Daniel, and you know, whatever that has in store that comes. I think like aside from that though, I really want to win a state championship because I'm a senior and that's something that I've always wanted to do. But yeah, just be a better me, mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. Yeah, something simple.
And like I think earlier Amelia was talking about like how it's hard for her sometimes to do like New Year's resolutions when you like explicitly state them, I guess. But so I thought that we should also maybe talk about some like tips for like goal setting and like how to achieve your goals a little bit. To start out, I guess, for me personally, when I'm setting a goal, I try to make it something, first of all, that's like realistic and that I know that I can like actually do like over a long period of time. Just like something like small and like manageable, because like my goal this year is to read 140 books, and like I don't know, if I was like, oh, I want to read like 365 books because I want to read a book like every day of the year, like that would probably be really hard and I wouldn't be able to do that. So try to make it realistic. And I also think it's really important when you're like goal setting to keep like at the forefront of your mind like why you want to achieve that goal, because if you're just doing something because you feel like obligated to do it, or like because you're feeling like pressure in like different areas of your life, like that's not really sustainable, and like you're not going to be very motivated to like actually like stick with it. So I think it's really important to be like okay, like well, I want to get a 4.0 this semester because like I want to be able to get into a good school and like you know, so I can get the qualifications for like this job that I really want, which is gonna like help people. Like you just kind of gotta like keep your own internal motivation like at the forefront of your mind when you're setting a goal for yourself.
I agree. I think you always have to make sure you have a specific purpose in mind whenever you're trying to do something, especially like a large goal or even a small goal. You just have to have a reason to keep pushing you, because eventually you're not going to want to do whatever you have to do to get to that point, but you have to if you want to get to that point. And then I think whatever your goal is, I think it should be something that you enjoy. Like let's say you want to, like, we'll use your example, you want to read 140 books. That would imply that you like reading, because if you didn't like reading, why would you read 140 books? Like that's unnecessary. So I think whatever your goals are, it should be connected to something that you like doing, because that's just going to help motivate you even more to reach that goal, because it's something you actually enjoy.
Yeah. Or even like, I know something that we put in like the newsletter, a lot of it was related to like, there was like a lot of like health or like fitness goals that you could like implement into your routine or whatever, and like habits that you could try to make. And I think that's one of the areas where a lot of people kind of struggle sometimes to like get motivated, or they just think that they have to like spend all this money on a gym membership, or like completely and like drastically like change their diet, or like, you know, but there are simpler things that you can do to kind of like, I don't know, get like healthier and like take better care of yourself that aren't necessarily like expensive or like time consuming. Some good tips are like drinking lots of water, like just being hydrated helps your brain work better, and it helps like flush out like toxins out of your body, and it also helps like clear up your skin. Like reducing the amount of sugar that you eat also helps like clear up your skin, and it helps like regulate your mood. Even if you don't like super high intensity exercise, you can like go for walks. Like that's a really easy way to get in like some cardio and extend your lifespan without getting exhausted or having to spend a bunch of money at the gym. But what was I saying? I was gonna say I had like a point about this. What did I say before all this? I don't remember.
I think it was, not actually sure.
I don't remember.
I remember you're just talking about like how we provided a bunch of resources on the website, but before
I was talking about staying motivated, but like don't try to like do all this fitness stuff or whatever because like, I don't know, people like tell you like weird things about your body, or because you feel like pressured to. Like I think it's really important when you're doing stuff like that, because like you should do it because like, oh, like I want to be healthy, or like I want to live longer, or I want to feel better, or I want to feel stronger, like, or like I want to be able to protect myself, or like I want my heart to be in good shape, or like I want to look good. Like you need to like do it for yourself, and like not because like you feel pressured to do it, you know?
Another thing is like, if you end up not being able to accomplish your New Year's resolution, to not feel discouraged, because the fact is you did try and you really did want to do it. And even if like you only made it halfway, like let's say like Sophie was saying how she wanted to read 140 books this year, let's say she only read like 70, she still read a lot of books, so that's still a really big accomplishment for her. So even if you end up like not completing your whole New Year's resolution, as long as you put in the effort there, I feel like that still counts no matter what.
Yeah, my friend said something, I'm probably like completely butchering this, but there's a saying that he says all the time that's something like, if you aim for the stars, or like you aim for the top or something, like you'll catch greatness along the way. Like even if you set out like a really weighty goal, or you don't end up like completing it 100%, like you still like put in your best effort and like made like some improvement, which is kind of like, you know, the whole point of goal setting. So yeah.
Also, like, if your goal doesn't come to fruition, don't look at yourself like a failure, because as long as you didn't quit throughout that whole process, you didn't fail, because you still kept trying. If it didn't happen and you kept trying, then it just wasn't meant to happen. So just don't have that negative perception of yourself if it doesn't happen. You know? That's just how life goes. Some things happen, some things don't. It's just the way it is.
Before we get to the next topic, let's take some time to look at this month's subscription pack, brought to us by Aisha.
Hi, and welcome to another episode of Tag Your It. My name's Aisha. I'm a teen subscription pack intern, and I'm going to be going over some of the contents for this month's pack. So for our January pack, we decided on the theme of time capsule because it was a new year. And for the contents, we were inspired by some recent trends. We also included some sort of throwback items and stuff like that. So I'm gonna just go straight into the unboxing. So for this month, our packs are packaged in this really cool book box. So on the outside it looks like a normal book, and then when you open it up, it's it has all the contents in it, so it's really cool. So the first thing is the flyer, and I would definitely read this because it has a lot of cool resources. It also has a list of things to help you if you want to start something new this year. So I would definitely read this. And then the first item is we have a Fanny Pack, and these are really nice to just hold your stuff. You can just zip them up, put it around your waist. These became pretty popular in the last couple years-ish, so yeah, we decided to include those. And then the next thing we have is our Fidget Toys, or Fidget Toy. I have a Poppet, and these became also really popular the last year, so we decided to include it. So these are really nice just to play with and relax a little. The next thing we have an entire sticker sheet, so it's really nice, and our stickers are actually designed and made completely by the interns. So we have a bunch of New Year themed stickers. One of them has it says memory lane, and yeah, they're pretty cool. And then one of them has a quote on them, and yeah, they're really nice. And you can use them for anything you want. If you want to decorate, I don't know, your desk or something like that. They're really cute. And then the next thing we have is a mini journal. Mine says positive attitude will lead to positive outcomes. So these are really nice just to write anything in them. And if you wanted to, you could try to write I don't know, maybe a little bit every day, even if it's just a sentence or something, and then you can look back at it. It would just be nice to see how you've changed, how you've grown, kind of fitting our theme of time capsule. And yeah, the next thing is we have these mini calendars. Mine says never never give up. These are really pretty, and these are really nice to just write down your schedule and write down I don't know, if you have an important thing a certain day, you can just use it to fill out and plan your days. And yeah, and it just folds in half, which is really nice, so you can just it's really convenient. The next thing we have is, I know for this month we had a choice between two books, so you either have Himawari House or Piece by Piece, depending on which book you chose. Both are really nice books, and that connect back to our theme of time capsule, trying something new, and yeah. And then we also have a YDL pencil, which is really cool. Yeah, really nice. The next thing is we have a silly band, and I know me and the other interns were talking about silly bands. A lot of us were saying how we grew up with them. I did myself. You might have also grew up with these. It's kind of a nice nostalgic item. I remember when I was younger, I had a whole entire collection of them, and yeah, these are really cool. They actually glow in the dark, if you didn't know that. And then the next thing we have is a scrunchie. I know these became really popular the last couple of years, and you can use this for your hair, or you can just wear it on your wrist. You can do whatever you want with it. And then we have this, what is it called? Brain teaser cube. So this is like, mine is like, it's like, it has like these holes, and you're supposed to fit these like little balls through them. And yeah, these are really like fun to just play with. And yeah, the next thing we have is we always like to include like some sort of snack or candy in our packs. So for this month we decided to include now and later candy. So obviously like these were really fitting for our theme. And if you don't know what these are, they're basically kind of like Starburst basically. And yeah, that's everything for this month's pack. I hope you guys enjoy all the contents, and I hope you guys enjoy the rest of this podcast as well.
So, what are some of your guys' like biggest challenges when it comes to starting something new? Or like, do you want to talk about a time when you struggled to like navigate a new experience? For me personally, I'm really into music a lot. I play like 8 different instruments, and it's a problem. But recently I got like a piano for Christmas, and I know like some piano, but I don't really like play it all that often, and I don't know how to read piano music. I tried to learn when I was really little, but I just sort of gave up, and no one really went through on like teaching me that. So I don't know it very well, but I started writing like a piano composition, and my teacher made me like notate it and like write it out as like music, and it was really, really difficult because I don't know how to read piano music at all. So it was a process of like having to like sit at the piano and like plink out like all the rhythms and the notes and stuff, and then trying to like transfer it on the page and see how it sounds, and it was really hard, but it got easier like the more that I did it. So yeah, that's like the challenging thing that I've done so far this year.
This wasn't exactly this year. This was like a couple years ago in my freshman year. I remember when I first got to orchestra, I felt like I was struggling a lot, and I was like very like stressing myself out about it too. I just felt like the pieces we were playing, I felt weren't hard, but I just like didn't like, I couldn't play them for some reason. Like they were too hard for me. So I remember I was very like not sad, but I was just very stressed out and frustrated about it, and I was really on myself about it too. And then I remember I was practicing like every day after school, trying to make sure that I was like keeping up with myself and like being able to play all of the pieces we were assigned. And I feel like that was like a really big milestone for me, because like I play the viola, but I've played viola since I was in the 4th grade. But when I like started playing it in high school, it was like a very big change for me, because my orchestra in my middle school was very small. It was about like maybe 10 people or something like that. There was a lot of people, but when I went to high school, well, our high school orchestra is also very small, but I felt like it was still like a really big change, because there's like so many like talented people there. So I just felt like I like really needed more practice, and eventually once I practiced every single day, I really got to like improve a lot, and I feel like I have improved a lot, because now this year I'm principal player. So
that's so cool. Congrats. I'm also a principal player, so like we're twinsies. I had like a like sort of similar experience in terms of orchestra, because Amelia and I both play in the same orchestra because we go to the same school, and like I've been playing the cello since I was like 11, like in like 6th grade, but my middle school's orchestra was enormous. It had like 160 people in it or something, and so it was really easy to just kind of like get like lost in the crowd, and your mistakes were not as like apparent, and you could just kind of like blend in, and even if you weren't that good, like it didn't really matter, because there was like 159 other people playing. But when I got to our school's orchestra, which has maybe like 30 people in it, maybe, my mistakes were a lot more obvious, and I had I don't know. I just had to get a lot better so that I didn't suck and like ruin orchestra for everyone. but it was hard though. But I think being part of a smaller group was like really cool because it allowed the teacher to kind of like focus on us more individually and like help us develop better than maybe I would have if I was part of like a larger orchestra too. So
yeah, and another thing with that is like our sections are very small. Like in my section, I only have 3 people, including myself. So, and the people in the orchestra are from like all of the grades in high school. So we have like freshmen, sophomores, juniors, seniors. So it's like, even though like you're an underclassman, but you have someone from like an upper class, like in your section, it's still like really easy to connect with people, which I really like.
Yeah, it's cool because in middle school we're kind of broken up into like by like grades and stuff, and which has its benefits and its drawbacks. Like the pieces that we're playing are kind of really like tailored to our specific skill level, which is good. But in high school orchestra, you kind of have to like meet people more in the middle just because there's such like a wide range of like, you know, skill levels and stuff. But it's also really cool because it provides a lot of opportunities to like Amelia said, like connect with like other people who are in your grade, or to get like really like close, like one-on-one like mentoring with like older musicians and stuff, which is really cool. So sorry, we went off on like a whole tangent about orchestra.
I mean, I can relate to you because this semester I'm taking guitar classes, and guitar is really something that I enjoy listening to the music, like electric guitar. Even though I'm not into rock, there's like covers that I enjoy, and that kind of the tone that the electric guitar kind of plays in. I kind of want to learn that and keep using that in the future. So
that's so awesome. Guitar is like literally such a cool instrument. I've been playing guitar since I was like 8 years old, and my dad was like a professional musician before he like did what he does now, and so that was kind of instilled at me at like a very young age. But it's a super cool instrument, and yes, you should pursue your interest in guitar because guitar is awesome.
I've tried through a few instruments, from drums, clarinet, violin. This is like the 4th one now.
That's so cool. I play like acoustic guitar. Like my dad has like a bazillion electric guitars, but he doesn't let me play any of them, and it's really annoying because he never plays any of them. So like, why does he even need them? I don't get it, but whatever. It's kind of similar though. Like electric guitar is a lot more like picking, I guess, and like less like chords or whatever, but I guess it depends on how you play.
Ironically enough, I also make music, so that's interesting. But this actually happened yesterday. I don't play any instruments or anything, but pretty good at like writing music. And I've been writing for a while, but it was just like instrumental that I was trying to write something to, like when I was trying to force something that wasn't there, and I started getting like irritated because usually writing is very, very easy to me. It comes very like seamlessly. In that moment, I couldn't think of anything. So I started getting irritated, and then I just had to like relax and just give myself a little bit of time to just like let what was playing just flow. I don't know, just took some time to relax and just let myself listen to the music. And then I ended up writing a poem that went really well over the instrumental. So now I like what it sounds like. So I think the hardest part for me is getting the ball rolling, and then if it doesn't start rolling, to allow it to I don't know what the word is, but like I don't know how to explain it. Just be patient and let things happen when they're supposed to.
I totally get what you're saying. As like a fellow composer, I feel like Writing music is kind of like love sometimes, you know? Like, you never find it when you're looking for it. It's only when you're, like, cleaning the bathroom or something and you start humming a tune that kind of sounds good to you and you're like, oh, wow, like, this could be a song. That's pretty cool. Honestly, that's how I write most of my songs. Like, I'll just be, like, doing chores and I'll start, like, randomly singing about, like, cleaning the toilet or something. And then like it'll like turn into like an actual song about something, which is kind of cool. But you just gotta be patient. Like I feel like I can never just sit down and be like, okay, I'm gonna write a song now. Like it just, everyone's process is different, but it doesn't really like work for me that way either. So
That's what I was so upset about, because usually I can just sit down and be like, all right, I'm gonna write something. I'm gonna write like 5 songs, and then I can actually do it. But in that moment, I couldn't, and I hate when that happens. So it just got to me.
for me, like some people are scared of writing music a little bit because it's like a form of art and like self-expression, you know? So you're kind of, sometimes you're like laying your soul bare and stuff, but honestly, my biggest fear, my dad messes with me all the time. Like, I'll play him a song I've written, and he's like, that sounds exactly like this other song that, like, so-and-so wrote or something. And that's, like, my worst fear is, like, writing something that, like, already exists. Because I don't want to be, like, sued for, like, copyright or anything like that. So. But, yeah.
Just look at it like this, because this is how I used to be afraid of that, and then I just heard this. Nothing is truly original because everything comes from inspiration. So why be afraid if nothing is really original? Because whatever song your song sounds like, that's not completely original. They were inspired by something else. So everything comes from inspiration, if that makes sense.
That's true. Like, there's only so many, like, chords and, like, notes and stuff. And so after a while, you're bound to get some repeats or some things that sound similar. If we're still talking about like navigating challenging new experiences, I basically like completely moved to a new city and a new school and like a new house and everything when I was like 14, and that was really hard. And like, I don't know, have you guys ever had any experiences in terms of like kind of like starting your life over again on some level?
Not yet, but I'm going to in about 9 months till I'm moving to Indiana for college. So that's gonna happen, and I'm sort of scared, but you know, it's a part of life.
Yeah, I'm kind of same with Daniel. I haven't really like had to like start over yet anywhere really. I guess like a big change that's kind of similar to starting over was like getting into high school. Like compared to like middle school, that's like a really big change. And like I've obviously like learned more about myself as I've gone through high school, and especially because like COVID hit when I was like still a freshman, and then during that time, like when I had to like stay at home a lot, I learned a lot more about like things I do like, things I don't like, and I just like really found myself during that time. So I guess that's like one situation where it's kind of similar to what you were saying, Sophie.
I can agree to Amelia and Daniel's perspectives on when it comes to college, since in about a little less than a week, I'll be taking my first college courses. I've been in high school for about a year and a half now. A little less than a year and a half. But getting onto the college schedule and how college kind of works is going to be a pretty fun challenge. At the same time, I'm going to start hating it once I start hitting roadblocks.
Yeah, I'm more like nervous and like then excited to like start college, I guess, at this point. Like, to be fair, like high school is not exactly my favorite, and so I think it will be interesting and maybe good to like kind of move on from that a little bit, but I don't know. I recently got turned down for some scholarships that I thought were gonna like pay for like me staying in the dorms or something, but now it seems like that's not gonna happen and I might have to live at home for a little bit longer, which is not how I had planned my college experience going. So I'm just kind of having to like readjust some of my expectations for what my college experience will be like. especially because we don't know how things are gonna like turn out with COVID and everything either.
COVID really hasn't helped anything, especially when some schools here in Michigan, the application rate increased by like 13% or more. Some also decreased, but it's really shocking to see how even during the pandemic, some of the big schools here are getting a lot more applicants than they usually do.
Really, why's that?
I don't know. Like the University of Michigan,
because a lot of them are becoming test optional schools. So people think that if you don't have to send in your SAT, might as well try to get into Michigan. But the thing is, they still want you to send in your SAT. They just don't say they do. And even if you don't send in your like SAT or ACT, they still require like you to have really good grades. You got to be in all types of extracurriculars. You have to be doing all of these things just to supplement you not sending in your test score. Even if you do, they want a test score that's so high, most people aren't even up there. So it's like,
yeah, I omitted all of my test scores when I was applying to college and for like scholarships and stuff, just because I was supposed to go in and like take like the SAT or the ACT like when COVID was kind of doing its thing, and like I'm like high risk, so my parents were like, you're not going in and doing any of that. But for like a lot of like the scholarships, like for example, there was this one like really big scholarship that I applied for that I didn't get, but like it's fine. And so like you either had to have a 3.5 GPA and like a 1200 on your SAT, or you could omit your test scores, but you had to have like a 3.9 or like a 3.85 GPA. So your grades have to be like really good still in order to either get into school or like get scholarships and stuff. But for me personally, like I have like really good grades, but I'm really bad at like standardized testing. So I think in the end, like a lot of that actually kind of like worked out in my favor. Oh, it's real quick before, like I know part of our like pack thing was like time capsule or something was like part of our theme, and I thought maybe we could talk about that a little bit, because like these last couple days I've been like reading through like all of my old journals. Like I've been journaling since I was like 12, and for reference, I'm about to turn like 18 in like a couple of days, so I've been journaling for a very long time, and like just kind of looking back on all that is like super weird. Do you guys like journal at all or like do anything like that?
I do a little bit. It's like it's been an on and off thing for maybe a year and a half, 2 years. I do to an extent.
Yeah, I kind of do it sporadically. Like sometimes I'll do it every day and then I won't write for like a month or 3, and then I'll do it some more. So it's kind of not always super consistent.
I think people should try it though, because me at least, it was a really good way for me to express things that I wanted to say out loud. And that was like a good release of a lot of different emotions and things that I was feeling throughout those times. So I do think it's something that people should they should give it a chance, try it, see how it can possibly benefit you in your life.
If you guys, like, what would you put if you had like a time capsule? Like, what would you put in it?
For me, I'd probably put like a bunch of old pictures of me that I have. And then when I went to middle school, I had like a school uniform, and I would wear this like one sweater like every single day. So I'd probably put that sweater in there too. And then, what else would I put in there? I had this I have a baby blanket. I'd probably put that in there too. And then like a stuffed animal, like one of these old stuffed animals I have, I'd probably put in there too. And then the funny thing is, if I did have a time capsule and I'd put a stuffed animal in there, I would look for it like later on, I'd forget I put it in there, and I'd be very confused and frustrated because I wouldn't know where it is. But I would still put it in there. And then I don't know. I feel like that's mostly it for now. And then I'd probably just like write a letter to myself. Oh, and I'd also put like like how Sophie and Daniel were saying earlier, how they journal. I like used to journal on and off, kind of what they were saying. I don't really do it as much now, but I would also put that in my time capsule, and like I said, like write a letter to myself for when I do open it.
For me, I might put in like maybe like some of my old journals, although like I can't like tell you like how anxiety provoking like the whole idea of like taking a bunch of stuff that I like and like burying it in a box in the ground is for me because like I feel like I would be worried like if it got lost, or like I live in an apartment, so like what if I had to move, and like would the people who own my property be like mad at me for like taking off the ground? Oh my god.
You're just gonna come back 10 years later and be like, hey, I used to live here. I'm just gonna grab this shovel, go in the back and dig up a hole. Please don't mind me.
Yeah, don't mind me just digging a hole over here to dig up some old crap I buried like 2 years ago. Oh my god. But okay, like theoretically, like if this was my house and like I was gonna live here forever and I didn't have to worry about that, and like all of this stuff like wasn't gonna get dirty or anything, like I would probably put in some of my old journals and like a letter to myself and like some pictures, kind of like Amelia, and then maybe like some candy, because I like have like a super big sweet tooth, and like I know that like me, like 28-year-old me or whatever, would be like super happy if like present me like did that for like future me. So I put some of that in there, and then maybe like some like tarot cards or something. I don't know, I really like tarot and like crystals and like hippie stuff like that, so probably some things like that. And then maybe like, I don't know, like I really like my MP3 player, and like maybe once I get a real phone, like I put like my MP3 player in there or something, or like a book that I really like. Yeah, that's what I put in there. Like a guitar pick.
Let's see for me. I would put stuff that would remind me of my childhood. Like for example, when I was little, I used to get a lot of Bakugan. Do you guys remember that from? Like,
wait, say that again?
Wait, can you say
Bakugan?
Bro, I love Bakugan so much.
Bakugan is like a little ball, and then these like magnetic cards. They have like they're called gate cards, and they have like special abilities. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I'm familiar with any of that.
I feel like I've heard of it before. I just can't like visualize
It was a
or
show.
like remember it.
It was like a TV show, and then they had like the cards and everything, bro. You just brought back so many memories.
Like one of the characters was Drago.
Yeah.
Another memory would be Webkins. I actually had a fair bit of Webkins. I don't know where they all went.
I was obsessed with Webkins.
I lost my Webkins. I don't know where they went. I still have one in my room, so I guess it would just be like that type of stuff.
I don't know if I told you guys this before, but in like 3rd grade, I would run all like the Beyblade rings in like elementary school. Like I found this like big, like, if you don't know what Beyblades are, they're basically like really like cool looking like spinning tops that have like powers or whatever. I think that was also a show, but you basically like spin the tops in an arena, and then whichever one is spinning last wins. Like I don't know, but and I don't know if there were cards, or maybe there were cards, I don't remember, but it was a really popular thing when I was in like elementary school. And like I found an arena at like a garage sale, and like I don't know, I would just like bring it out at recess, and then everyone would like battle in my arena, and it was kind of cool.
Sophie was the cool kid in elementary school.
During your time.
Do you guys remember Yu-Gi-Oh? It's kind of like Magic the Gathering or like Pokemon. Well,
Yes.
Pokemon was so good.
I like decided that I wanted to start a Yu-Gi-Oh collection in elementary school also, and so like all the like guys like on my bus, like I was like, do you have any like Yu-Gi-Oh cards that you just don't want? Like I'm trying to start a collection. And so they gave me all of their like worst Yu-Gi-Oh cards, and I just had this like giant stack of like basically like worthless, like horrible Yu-Gi-Oh cards.
Wait, when you started Beyblades, were they like metal or plastic? Beyblades?
I'm pretty sure they were plastic. That sounds like the metal ones. That sounds dangerous.
Okay, wait. Do you remember what year this was, or like a rough timeline of the year?
Oh God. Okay, so it's 2022 now, and in 3rd grade I was 8 maybe. So that was 10 years ago. So that was like 2012. Yeah.
I don't think Beyblade Burst was made back then. I don't think so.
It was either like 3rd or 4th grade. Like it was like 2012, 2013, maybe. But they definitely existed. I know that. So wait, I'm Googling it right now because how do you spell Beyblades?
B-E-Y and then blade.
Invented. Kaden, they were invented in 1999. So
No, I'm talking about the plastic one, like the Burst, not like
okay.
the heavy metal ones from Metal Fury and stuff.
No, I don't remember, but
Yeah,
I don't remember which ones. Yeah, I don't remember if they were metal or plastic. But these are so cool though. They got like all this like crystal like metal parts, and all of them look different.
yeah.
Kind of neat. I don't think I ever actually owned any Beyblades. I just had like an arena, and like people would play in the arena, and I would watch. But that was it. Honestly, like if I were to put an old-fashioned like weird toy that I like, I'd probably put in like a Rubik's Cube with only like one of the sides solved. Because
I was just thinking about that, but I was thinking how like angry I would be when I opened it. I have this one Rubik's Cube that I didn't solve for 5 years, and then when I went into high school, someone solved it for me, and then over quarantine, I messed it up all over again. So it's okay, Kaden. Okay, Kaden.
You can see, but Kaden's holding up a fully solved Rubik's Cube and like rubbing it in our faces that we can't solve Rubik's Cube.
Anyways, so now it's like very unsolved. I'm gonna pretend I'm not looking at Kaden right now. So it's very unsolved. So I would also put that in my time capsule, but I would be so angry if I open it. I'll be like, it's just another way to burden myself in the future.
Okay, when I was like, I don't remember how old I was. I think I was like 7 or something. I got a Rubik's Cube in like my Easter basket or something like that. And I was so excited. And there was this super mean kid at this park that I used to go to. And he was like, can I play with your Rubik's Cube? And like me being the nice 7-year-old that I was like, yeah, okay, sure. And he like took off all of the orange stickers and like restuck them or something, and he's like, there, I solved one of the sides for you. And like he just like completely ruined my Rubik's Cube, and I'm still upset about it 11 years later to this day.
That's a valid reason to be upset.
Isn't that like an? I don't know why does this thing can't happen? Why can't the whole thing be plastic and not just like a sticker?
Exactly. I don't get it. Have you ever seen any of those Rubik's Cubes that have like 17 different cubes like on each side? Like
I'm pretty sure I know.
Ones?
I'm pretty sure I know someone who can solve that.
Like
That's
a
crazy.
sphere, like all the little dots?
No, it's like a regular square, but there's
like a lot of sections in it.
Yeah.
Oh, like you turn it and then you have like a tiny square here, a big square there.
I think, well,
They're
that's a
all
different
like
type, but there is another one like that. There's another one that you're describing, Kaden, but I think the one Sophie's describing is that there's just all like very small squares.
Yeah, but there's also ones that are like hollow in the middle, like they're big, like they look like soccer balls, but they're Rubik's Cubes, and they look really complicated. I can't even solve like they make like little ones that have like 4 sides instead of like 9 like on each side, and I don't think I can even solve those. So
I can't even solve the regular ones, let alone a different version of it. This is just so sad.
Honestly,
People like who have these giant Rubik's Cube spheres that have like a million different sides. If you can solve that, congrats to you. That is an accomplishment.
I went to a museum once and they had like a giant Rubik's Cube that was like really big. That was on like an axis or something, so you could try to like solve it. I guess, but it was like really heavy and you couldn't move it basically. And like the weight was distributed weird, so even if you like move the pieces, they would like fall back into like their original arrangement or whatever, so you couldn't actually solve it, which I found weirdly frustrating, even though I was only there for like an hour.
Daniel, did you share what you wanted to put in your time capsule? I know we got like very sidetracked.
Time capsule. I'd put a bunch of, like, I would put a hard drive and then put all of the songs I've written, because I write all my songs on my phone. I'll put those songs on a hard drive. I'd put that in there because I would want to see like how I evolve artistically from now to, whenever. I put some jewelry in there too because I like jewelry. Jewelry's cool. What else? I put my track spikes in there. Track is important. I put some I'll put some like mint chewing gum in there. I like gum. It would honestly just be a lot of random things that I put in there in the spur of the moment, just because I think, in the future I would think it's cool. There's nothing like really like deep I would put in there. It's just a bunch of stuff that I think would be cool. So yeah.
Honestly, I feel like if I made an actual time capsule and then dug it up like 10 years later, I wouldn't even like understand what half the stuff was or why I put it in there. I think I've tried to make like, oh yeah, I'd also put a bunch of like my swim ribbons like in there probably. Like I have a whole box of like important stuff and mostly it's just pictures and like ribbons that I won from swim. Are we about ready to wrap it up maybe?
I think so. I don't really know. I think we've covered pretty much everything, like time capsule, New Year's resolution, maintaining goals.
Yeah.
This has been an episode of Tag. Make sure you follow us on Instagram at Ypsi Library Teens. Also, make sure you're on the lookout on our website, ypsilibrary.org/subscription packs. That's where there'll be content involving the packs themselves, new information about the podcast, and promotional videos where you may be able to see some behind the scenes stuff about the podcast and the creation of the packs themselves. Again, this has been Tag. I hope you enjoy. Have a good day.